At some point, I'm going to switch to some Straftat gameplay. Straftat? Because I don't want to spoil what happens. So if at some point you see a first-person shooter, it's not the game. It's not Inhuman Resources. Just, putting that out there. Inhuman Resources, a literary machination, is an immersive, choose-your-own adventure horror game with great writing and chilling atmosphere, in which you assume the role of an employee of a corporation with many secrets. I really can't say much without spoiling what made this game so interesting, but I can say what made it so engaging. In this game, you're a loser, nobody, the type of person who could have done something with their life and yet did nothing. You haven't hit rock bottom yet, but you're so close to it that you could get off a stool and reach it. You've been living in your aunt's apartment, but after 2 weeks of unpaid rent and depression that prevents you from cleaning, showering, and applying for jobs, your aunt gives you an ultimatum. Get a job that pays the rent, or get out. Lucky or not for you, your aunt's job just got a vacant spot, and with a couple of lies, she can get you in and get some money flowing to her pockets. You have no choice but to go to an interview the very next day, but 1 foot through the door and everything seems off. Everything seems just... Now, let me tiptoe around why I like this game. I can't spoil too much, and this is going to be a spoiler-free review. And for a game that's mostly a book, kind of hard to do. But Inhuman Resources, a literary machination, is basically a book. Everything is wonderfully described, the dialogue feels so good and real, and quick-paced moments feel intense. Each character introduced has a quirk that adds their charm or anxiety to the story, and each character feels fleshed out enough to care for. And not only were they fun and interesting, but they also gave more meaning to the overall story. It's like everything mentioned and shown matters, so it never feels like what I was reading wasn't important. As previously mentioned, this is an interactive book, a choose your own adventure game, in which there is very little active gameplay, but there are some mechanics still. Through answering questions, paying attention to certain situations, and exploring dialogue options, you can unlock items or skill that will unlock more choices that will be helpful at different points of the story. There are also a couple of sections you'll be clicking through equipment tied to those scenes. It's a change of pace that adds to the intensity of certain situations that wouldn't be possible with a traditional book. What I truly believe is that this game could greatly benefit from voice acting. We've seen plenty of examples, such as Disco Elysium and Silly Princess, which are games that greatly benefit from that. Not only that, but it was also kind of silly hearing the same voice clips over and over again. And while everything is beautifully described and characterized, it would have been nice to have some visual imagery. The same background is used for the entire game, but imagine if they were to slap in just basic drawings of each spots you go to, of each person you meet, not just a portrait, because it's an interactive book. There's a bit more they could have done to take advantage of their media that, while not completely necessary, would have helped more with the immersion. At its heart, Inhuman Resources, a literary machination, is a book. The developers take advantage of the medium by adding multiple choices, turning it into a choose your own adventure game, adding some fun events tied to the narrative, and short paragraph and sentences to keep the pacing tight and intense. While it is a tremendous book that, depending on your reading speed, could be finished in around 6 hours, it took me longer due to my own reading pace, but I was still hooked throughout. It feels like they could have done more to showcase its beautiful and horrifying narrative, such as adding more drawings in the backgrounds and other things like that. Like I said, they did take advantage of the medium, but they could have done a little bit more. Nevertheless, I recommend this game to people who love to read horror books, choose your own adventure games, and want a reading experience with some activities thrown in from time to time. And that's it. I appreciate you for watching. If you play this or know other great narrative horror games, let me know in the comments below. Thank you.